Hey guys, and welcome back to Mud Rats Hunting and Outdoors. Well, I refitted my scope back on my Sps Varmint this afternoon, and I did the camo paint job. I didn't record me doing the paint job just purely because of the amount of room. I was limited on room and space to set up the camera and be mucking around with foliage, and you know, I probably would have ended up getting paint all over the camera. So I didn't decided to go against that, but I'll now explain it in detail on what I've done. Now the paint I used was Krylon camouflage paint. Now if you're in New South Wales or if you're in Australia, I searched on the web for probably a good couple of hours, and I could only find one supplier of that brand of paint, you know, in the New South Wales area of Australia. And I'll leave a link in the description on where you can get that. And you know, there's other brands of other paint out there, but from other videos that I've watched on camo jobs, this Krylon stuff seems to be the go, and I'm really impressed and happy with how it turned out. It turned out great. So, but anyway, we'll get into it. I'll explain how you're going to go about it. What you want to do is I also use 4 colours. If I didn't already mention that, but you want to start out with your lightest colour first, okay? And you want to paint the whole entire rifle in that colour. Now I left my scope on. I just masked up all my turrets, you know, where my markings are on my turrets and everything else, and masked up my lenses, and you know, just the areas that I didn't want covered in paint. But to start off with, you want to start off with the lightest colour, which is this sandy colour that comes in the Krylon. And like I say, you want to paint the whole entire rifle in that colour. Now, if you're going to be in a lighter area, where you're doing hunting, say in a grassy plain area where it's more going to be, you know, light brown grasses and that sort of thing, and lignum and that sort of thing, you can just get away with spraying it with that sandy colour and then putting your foliage over, and then spraying the OD green. Or if you want to just add a little bit of contrast in with that so it's not too light, you could then go another layer of foliage again, and then do your brown. But with your brown, because it's quite dark, you want to just lightly dust that on. It depends on how dark. If you want it a little bit darker, then you know, you just apply a little bit heavier of a coat on that last coat. But you know, depending on how light you want to go. So anyway, I started off with the sand colour, painted the whole rifle. I then got some local foliage, which in Australia you pretty much look at gum trees everywhere, ferns, especially in the area where I'm hunting, like fern, you know, and some other bits of like pine leaves and that sort of thing. So that's what I used on my camo job. So to start out with the first layer, I just put a light layer of fern and you know, pine leaves and gum leaves. And then I spray the OD green. Once I done that, I then took a bit more foliage and just crisscrossed it across the foliage that I already had there. And then I went and done my brown. And you know, once I give it a good coat over with the brown, and then again I got more foliage, crisscrossed it over in that again, and then I give it a real heavy coating with the black, because the area I go hunting is more darker. I want a bit more of a darker effect, so I went with the black, but I put a heavy coating of the black on, and it turned out really well. I'll give you a quick look on how it turned out. So as you can see, it turned out really nice. I put my Harris bipod on and painted it with the bipod on, but it turned out really nice. So give it a bit more of a there, and just basically refitted my that's the other side, and yeah, I refitted my Harris bipod in both my Allen shell holder and cheek rest, adjustable cheek rest, and yeah, it turned out really nice. But as you can see, around the turret areas, if I can just bring that in a bit closer, around the turret areas, I basically just marked off where my adjustment markings are. I don't know how well you can see that, but I masked that off. But overall, very impressed with the job. I also fitted the KRG tactical bolt knob. I'll leave a link in the description, along with a link for the paint. Now to fit that, it just comes in two halves, and with those two halves, you've got a you get in the kit two thick O-rings, and then you get two thin O-rings. Now with the Remington 700 bolt, you want to use the thinner O-rings. One fits on the bottom half and one fits on the top half. And at the back of the bolt, at the back of the actual bolt here, at this area, you have two pins, one either side, which locates the two halves together, while you so that you can clamp them together and then hold them in place and screw that screw in, the Allen head screw, and that holds it all together. But yeah, so it turned out really nice. You know, some might say, you know, why would you want to stick to the factory stock? I quite like the factory stock. I mean, as you guys seen in the range results on my my test loads, that you know, this thing was shooting a 1/4 inch group stock with the you know, with all the pinch points that were along the barrel. This barrel is now fully free floated, as you would have seen in the last video. You know, it's not touching the barrel channel at any point at all until it gets all the way back to where the end of the bedding finishes. So the only test is now is to take it up the range, and I'm going to put some factory ammunition, just some factory load ammunition in it, just to show how much better. I'll probably end up using that Federal 139 grain, the same as I did in the first video, just to give you guys a bit of an idea on how much of a big difference that it makes by doing this job to your rifle. So I'll get some of those 139 grains. I'll shoot a 5-shot group like I did with the initial, and then down the track, those hand loads that I worked up and I showed you before, they're 155. I'm also going to be working up some 168 grain AMAX loads. Those are the ones that I'm going to be using for my long range hunting. So as I work those loads up, I'll do some videos on that, and I'll show you the results on that as well. At the present time, I'm waiting for my trigger to return from being done. When that returns, I'll do another video on that trigger, and I'll put some more links in the description of where you can get your trigger work done. But you know, the way I see it, guys, you know, I don't know about you guys in the States can get a lot cheaper. You know, like your Macmillan stocks, your Bell & Carson stocks. To buy those over here in Australia, you're looking at starting at $600 and upwards. So they're quite considerably more expensive here with our import costs with customs and whatnot here in Australia. So you know, while it is nice to fit one of those, and you know, if this doesn't shoot how it's supposed to after this, I may later on down the track, I may get one of those. I doubt it, just basically because you know, I can't see why you want to spend that amount of money on you know, on a aftermarket stock, when for $60 you can stabilize and bed your factory stock and get the same accuracy as going to buy one of those you know, more expensive stocks. And then even when you do buy one of those expensive stocks, you've still got to bed the thing anyway to get the absolute accuracy out of that stock. So to me, it just defeats the purpose. I like the shape of the standard stock. I like the idea of the fluted section in the stock to allow for a little bit of the better cooling on the barrel. You know, I really like the way the standard stock feels. So yeah, maybe went down the track, we might go one of those, but I highly doubt it. You know, I'm pretty happy with how it looks, how it feels. So yeah, that's what we'll stick with. But it's all up to the individual. But if you guys, you know, that are on a budget, you know, some people can't afford to go out and buy those. I mean, I could go out and buy those tomorrow. I can afford to go and buy those stocks, but I just don't see the, you know, $600 spent on a stock compared to $60 is more ammo at the range in my eyes. So you know what I mean. That's more hunting, and that's the way I see it. So anyway, but when the trigger turns up, guys, I'll do that video and explain what the go is with that. But until then, as always, safe and happy hunting, and take care, guys.